What's up guys, it's Compass coming back at you with another video. Today, Konami dropped a new cost change. As you could see, there's a completely different meta shifting like crazy. Over 150 players have been changed. If you don't know who I am, I'm Compass. My Twitch is going to be down in the description, as well as the Power Pros World Discord. I'm going to be joined by two members of that. I'm going to be joined by Xlong and Haha Healy. Both of them are very well versed in Lock on 3 and Power Pros in general, and they have some very valuable opinions that they could share and help me out a lot in rating how these new players are going to be performing in the new meta. Daisuke Dieda, we saw him, he's 7 cost now. Slugger, Menace, A catcher, B clutch, very nice option. And a lot of these people, they changed Kyushu dropped, as we said before.
Yeah.
No catcher A's below 3.
Yeah. Alright. Suwano
right.
obviously rose to 3. A catcher. So there's a couple A catchers that are gonna be fighting for that 3 cost, in my opinion. It's gonna be Suwano, Akahara if you want a little bit more power but less fielding and arm strength, and Rokudo, which is just as much defense as possible with that heckler. Of course the throwing isn't as good either, but the B throwing is better than Akahara.
Yeah. Oh, actually, something I didn't realize last time, I forgot Dokkan existed at 2. I mean, it's only B power, but Slugger and that B and arm strength.
That could be a nice option at 2, maybe. But yeah, that might be a good option. Might be just Sakai pinch hit meta. Might be just like bring 2 B catchers now. I could see that happening.
The only reason that's tough, at least for me, if the meta goes otherwise, then screw me, I guess, but without a zero-cost catcher, it just feels like a waste to spend on 2 points on 2 separate catchers and then get a pinch hitter on top of that.
Yeah, you're right, but I mean, like, well, Dokkan would be your go-to guy, but like, I would say the argument to that is you could possibly get a better pitch hitter like Sabamatsu at 1, which we are going to talk about later. Actually, that would be 3 cost, so it doesn't even matter. My argument's irrelevant. I'm sorry for even bringing that up. I feel stupid now. Yeah, Dokkan
No.
for...
I mean, there's definitely uses. Like, Sakai he can also be like a pinch runner in an instant. He can back up second base if needed. It's just you have to kind of form your team around that if you're going to do the pinch defensive strat this time around, which you didn't really need to do before.
Yeah, you aren't going to be able to spend like 1 or 2 on a catcher and then just put in your free catcher. But if you do spend that, like, let's say you do what I said and use like Sakai and like Nanook or something, let's just say for example, and then use a pinch hitter, I think that could possibly work rather than using someone like Akahara or who else is like B. I think that could work better than using a Kaminara maybe. Of course it would be less defense, but you would probably have a better slugger than Kaminara. Just saying, if you wanted to go for that strategy. But of course,
definitely works.
But of course, the dominant strategy is going to be bringing one of these 3: Suwano, Akahara, Rokudo. And if they don't want to do that, if they want to bring more of a slugger, I think Daisuke is going to be pretty dominant.
I mean, yeah, I was using him at 9 still, so like at 7. Ooh.
Anything y'all want to add?
Komodo at 1 is basically Akahara with B catcher, I feel like, for the most part. Has a better arm, but less speed.
Is who Akahara?
Yeah, the 3-cost
Oh yeah,
Akahara, who's an A catcher. I feel like they're just kind of the same player.
yeah.
But you know,
I can definitely see that, but I definitely feel like the whole reason to be picking Akahara is just for the A catcher in the first place.
yep, agreed.
But just a question to help us move on. Would y'all see yourself using, let's say it's a 55 cost tournament, y'all see yourselves using Daisuke Dieda, or would y'all rather use a Suwano, Akahara, or Rokudo for that 8 cost catcher if you were to go for the 8 catcher?
Without having seen all the other costs for me, I think I'd go Daisuke Dieda. Right now, that's kind of where I want to go. I haven't used them in a while, and I think with just being 4 more cost, with that kind of hitter, with a catcher would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, especially with one of the pitchers that we'll talk about later, one of the main pitchers went down in cost, so like Data's like more affordable than ever.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, moving on to first base. Of course, you see up here, we see Kiyo, Sendo, and Takimoto all took a huge hit. Kiyo is now 9, Sendo and Takimoto are 8. They gonna be usable guys?
Maybe. I could see some like niche youth just, having a more or less guaranteed home run hitter, but outside of that very specific instance, just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We're pointing out that they are minus Oda and his chaser, the 3 probably best hitters in the game, and Keo, you can use at third, which a lot of people did before, and put Oda in left. So yes, maybe, but I think this will be a reason for other people to go out and explore other options.
Yeah, I agree. I would say my answer would be no, but I would say there is some psychopaths that will definitely do it. I don't think that it is worth it, or I just don't think it's worth it with what we'll talk about Oda's cost is. Well, Oda's cost is 11. They leaked that a long time ago. But just with Oda being so expensive, I don't think that you can even really afford these people unless you're playing like 100 cost maybe. 75
Yeah,
maybe.
At that point, you might as well throw Oda at first, and he doesn't even play first.
All right, so we got a lot of nice 5 cost options. We have Onowake. I think these 3 people are gonna be looking at the meta for the 5 cost people that you can run at first base. You have Onowake that has A power, A power gold homer. Only thing is that blunder and that mood swinger. You have Kushida, who has that really high contact like the other hitters, just less power, but has that slugger. That pull hit doesn't matter that much since, pull hits are generally rewarded. Slam Fam is nice, just a nice hitter. Ochai has A power, the low A power though, but is nice for the clinical and has the menace. So, who are y'all going with these 3? Y'all think these 3 are gonna be the meta, or?
I don't know. I don't know yet. It'll be interesting. I think the meta is so hard to predict, but of those 3, if I'm picking one to go with, I personally probably go Kushida.
Yeah, that would be my big one, either Kishida, or if you really need the menace, Ochai, but I feel like there's better menace options.
Yeah, I agree, but the menace stacking could be nice. It's not like you could have too much menace. It's not
That's
like
true.
it's not like a morale pick where you pick your morale player and you feel like, okay, I don't need another guy just because he has morale. But at the same time, Kushida is definitely a better option just on paper. Of course, I feel like a lot of people are going to be drawn to the Onowake just because of the homer on gold. But that
Yeah, and
mood,
sprayer.
yeah, the sprayer is also gonna help a lot because a lot of people they just time their pitches bad or time their swings bad and time them late. But that mood swinger, it hurts a lot more than people realize. I wouldn't be too concerned about the blender because a lot of people were using Sendo anyway with the blender. But that mood swinger, it hurts. Of course,
Yeah.
Healy got to explain that earlier, but would you like to explain it again for us?
Yeah, sure. So basically how Mood Swinger works is the better your mood is, you get an increased stat buff than you normally would. So a red Anawake is going to look better than a red any other character. But it also goes the other way, so if he's blue, he's going to do a lot worse than most other blue players.
Yeah, so basically just if he's blue or under, if he's just not going to be performing for you like you want him to, I just think that's going to be too much for a lot of people to handle. Of course, we come down here, we got the two Nidos. Of course, this Nido is nice, but kind of a niche pick. I don't expect a lot of people to pick him.
Yeah, you pick him for the morale, but you don't really need that anymore.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute because, of course, people don't know about that now because of my mistake.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Nah, I'm gonna have to have like a whole highlight clip like before of me like talking to myself and then staring in the camera for like a good 30 seconds. Alright, anyway. Edagawa is a really nice pick at 3, in my opinion. Nice first hole batter. Someone to get you started with a nice bomb.
And has morale, so I know we'll talk about that more, but it could offset Oume if people carry them, which I don't know if they will.
Yeah, well, he has slugger, and he also has setter and rally, so the setter helps when there's no one on base, so of course you set them in that first hole and they'll get that boost every time that first at bat. And then with that rally, if you set them in that first hole, they're more likely to get another at bat, especially when you're losing. That rally really makes a difference. I think that rally is one of the best hitting perks in the game.
I agree.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get the job done.
Yeah, definitely came in clutch with Bito a couple times for me. Hakasake didn't change at all, but still a nice menace bat, maybe. I mean, he's definitely a double machine, doesn't have slugger, but does have that menace.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need to pay that extra for DH just to fit that menace, and he's definitely one of the top picks for that.
Alright, Samba Matsu drops from 3 to 1. Very nice DH or pinch hitter.
Yeah.
I think they're usable at first base too if you like really need it. Can't be any worse than what Sendo was. Not like what you want, but definitely a nice pick. Slime is gonna be very happy about that. And here's where we were talking about our free morale. Kawahashi is now free at first base. Of course, the stats not looking too good, but she does have a lot of abilities which include morale. Might see her a little bit at second base. If like, I don't know, maybe if Wachan is like on purple or something. We'll get more into that later, but
in the right situation with that clutch, both the clutch A, but more importantly down below with the abilities, that gets a power boost up to 80 in some certain circumstances, so that can help a lot.
Not gonna lie, I did not know that. I don't know when the clutch activates, the lower one.
I think it's when the game's tied, like fifth inning or after, when the game's tied. So like for WBSC, something like maybe the second or third inning, and if the game's tied, I think,
All right.
or you're losing.
Yeah, Kawahashi is going to be one of the top 3 players. Of course, Yabumon is most usable he's ever been. In Healy's words from earlier. Maybe a nice pinch runner can maybe hit.
I never realized he can kind of sort of almost pitch, just because I've never looked at his stats before.
Whoa, hold on. Bro's a pitcher. Bro's just
Not at all useful, but funny that's there.
He's spamming them fastballs down. I think I want to roster him for the practice so we can do that sometime. That would be hilarious. Yabumon mixtape at on the mound. That would be hilarious. Alright, moving on to second base. We could talk about all these dudes again. Kikujo dropped from 6 to 4. Could be a nice power option, but I don't think she'll be getting much use.
Yeah. I mean, easiest way to sum it up, unless you're using Niantic for outfield, just pinch hit, pinch fielding for second base. Nothing's really changed there.
Yeah, Nyeptet still useful, of course, in the outfield. And at shortstop, I might add. Shortstop still usable too. But a lot of people are going to be doing Nagise, pinch hit into Wachan. So that's what I expect the strat to be. If they don't do that, they'll skip out on Wachan and put in Aseki. But that's how I expect people to still get their pinch hitting. Alright, third base.
Basically.
Third base, Oda. 11 cost, still gonna be rostered by everyone. Super nice pitcher still. Still one of the best hitters, or the best hitter in the game if we include Chaser. Well, since he has Chaser. I mean, without Chaser, he isn't, but with Chaser, he just turns that much better.
Yeah. He's something.
Yeah, he's definitely something. Regu, still at 7 cost, but looking a lot more usable now with the Kyo and Sendo and Takimoto nerfs. He's got Slugger and Menace. Nice player. Oda goes up, Franken Oda. Still definitely usable, but they're killing my boy out here. 6 cost now. Because you're going to have to think of him as a 4 cost pitcher and a 4 cost pitcher, 2 cost hitter.
Yeah, we gotta cope with it somehow.
Yeah, find any way to use him. Or Shacho over here went down from 5 to 4. Very nice budget third baseman, nice in the field, and got that slugger with S power.
Yeah, very good. Especially considering, the other options there, especially with Oda going up. If somebody goes the route of not rostering Oda, I could see just either Raigo or Ragu or Shacho.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And actually, someone I didn't realize last time, Fukuya, I forgot about him. Another menace slugger there, but one less than Raigu. Just give up a little on fielding.
Oh yeah.
And Sprayer, I never noticed that.
Oh, true.
Oh.
And Rally? Wow, what a guy.
That might be the pick over Ragu. I mean, I would probably pick, just like off a whim, Fukuya, I'd probably pick over Ragu.
I agree.
Just without putting that much thought into it.
Honestly, for me, it's just purely if I have that extra point or not at the end.
Yeah. Takeno, 2 cost, could be good for the contact hitters out there. Super fast, just doesn't really have the power to really slug all the time. But for 2 cost, could be nice. Nice lead-off option. Shogugetsu stays at 2. Nice menace option with S power. The S power could maybe get you through. No slugger is kind of rough, but you know, S power still there.
Yeah, if you're picking them, you're confident enough you can hit with them since you're doing it for the menace at that point. So yeah.
Yeah, of course Bondo also has the menace with sprayer. A little bit more of that contact, but less power. Definitely paying for the sprayer though, mostly.
Yeah. Between Slammer and Slam Fan, the Sprayer and Slam Fan, it almost evens out, honestly, in my opinion. I mean, still slightly less power, but like, they're a lot closer than it seems if I had the stats alone.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But that Slam Fam, it doesn't really activate that often in Lock on 3 unless you're contact hitting like that.
Yeah, I may or may not have done that a couple of times.
Actually, I'll take that back because in extras there is a lot of times where Slam Fam can activate.
True, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's a good point.
Honestly, I think Bondo is better than Shogugetsu if you're looking for a nice menace DH.
Yeah. Might even be a pinch hitter you throw in for whoever you have left for extra innings there. Whoever goes first, just throw Bondo in there.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, I noticed that the most when Kushida, the first baseman, was free, and people still had stacked rosters, they would bring him in extra innings with the Slam Fan. So you're right. I was just saying that. Yeah, you can. You definitely see that in the 4th and 5th inning quite a bit.
Yeah. Alright, and I think everyone here is pretty much done. Of course, Ome's still free, but sorry.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
Ome.
Ome, still free, but has that buzz kill. It offsets that free menace player that we got if you do roster him.
It's kind of give or take. Like, does have clinical and slammer, so like he can be usable. Just know he's not really a zero cost since you have to pay the extra point or two for a more out player.
Yeah, but I mean, he is good. He's definitely good. I don't even know what Slammer does, but he's a good contact hitter.
I think it's still similar to Slam Fan, if I'm not mistaken, or at least has a similar idea to it, where if like you have people on base, it gets a buff, or if you're like in a winning scenario, I think that's what it is.
I see. All right, going into shortstop, Tamazawa dropped from 7 to 6. A nice fielding and slugging option, of course, can both contact and slug with slugger and clinical. Super nice option for 6. Another option for 6 is Kamira with that menace and pretty much all A's. Pretty much has the same capabilities of Tamazawa. Who would y'all rather go for at 6? Tamazawa or Kamira? Because I think before, Kamira was definitely the choice, with Tamazawa being one more, but with them being even, it's a tough fight.
Tamazawa for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would come down to the team a little bit. Like, if I was really stretching to get that 4th or 5th menace player to get the full lineup, and maybe Kamiara, but he doesn't really do anything that Tomo doesn't already do. It's even the extra third base position's not really relevant in most situations.
Yeah, and Tamazawa is just a better hitter in general. Just both with clinical and slugger. Better on both sides, contact and slugging. Of course, they don't touch our boy Izuyoi or Nakanoshima or Kazanagi. All 3 of them did see use. Kirasaki actually drops to 3. Could see some use. I was already seeing use out of Kirasaki at 4. Wasn't she 4?
I believe so.
I believe she
It
was.
might have even been 5 if I'm. Don't quote me on that though. I feel like 3 is pretty low.
By the way, can y'all still see the stream when I do this? Or does it, like, move out?
No, I'm still seeing it.
Alright, good, because I'm on a different tab. Yeah, Kurosaki was 4, so she did drop down to 3. Pretty nice shortstop or second base option for 3. Especially for the contact hitters out there.
Now, the big one too, I think here is Morikawa dropped to 3.
Yep.
Morikawa dropped from 5 to 3. That's huge with the chaser. Definitely gonna be a lot of people's go-to shortstop now. Definitely gonna be my go-to shortstop, probably. Chaser is just too big.
I would say, what's his name? Ogo there? He has a shot. Like, he's 3-cost slugger. Catching's a little low, but like...
Yeah, that's a decent option.
Mm-hmm.
But with Morikawa, I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, Chaser's just that good of an ability, yeah.
With the meta I think that we're gonna go in, I think you're just gonna need as much chaser as you need. Did Azuma go up to 3 or was she already at 3?
Yep, they were at 2.
Wow, I wouldn't expect that. That's kind of wild. I didn't even see them that much.
I did see them used a decent amount by some of the really high S ranks, actually.
Yeah.
Wow, I was just in the dark.
I think Azuma has morale, right? So I think a lot of people use that as their morale pick that can also cover the position.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. Benutsuro drops from 3 to 2, I believe. Am I right on that?
Yep.
Still a okay shortstop option, but nice slugger. I mean, you would have to be kind of bold to put him at shortstop, but I do think that it is possible to do and pull off. It's just very iffy. But definitely a usable option now at 2.
I agree, especially at 2. The defense is obviously what it brought it down, but if you can compare it to Onawake at first base, they both have 80 power with Homer, Gold Homer. So they're similar hitting wise, I think.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Azuma drops from 2 to 1. That could be kind of interesting with a morale pick and a pretty nice fielder.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm wondering if it'll become a similar thing with what was his name? The outfielder that could play shortstop. They had him switching back and forth before he went to 2 cost. Yep. I feel like it could be a similar situation there. It's just they also have morale.
Who was that, Compass? Who'd you say?
Awate.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, so Yukami stays at 1. Of course, Clinical and Sprayer, S power.
We missed him. Ban. Is that 2 cost now?
Ban is
75 slugger.
Wow.
And
Ban
has the
wow. Ban is
Glover, Rally, Bullseye.
Wow.
That's pretty.
This is a very nice pick.
Yeah.
Easy out.
I remember using when he first came out. That Bullseye is huge. All flies across the field there.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be a good pick. I thought he was gonna be able to play some of the other positions well, but just that shortstop. Morikawa. Maybe you could stick him at that third base. Maybe, I don't know. But man, that looks good. That looks good for 2. Slugger, Glover, Bullseye, Rowley. Oh my goodness. Ban is amazing. Alright, who else do we have? course, we still
Oh.
have Pachine and Shibata.
Did Zanzu go from 3 down to 2?
I think they did.
Solid clinical
Yeah, it's
hitter.
Yeah.
Kind of got washed out by some of the other ones that went down, but they're solid.
Yeah, they're definitely a solid pick. Definitely got a nice bat, nice contact option. They were like 6 costs when the game came out, which is crazy to think about.
Hmm.
So long ago when they thought contact was going to be the meta.
Yeah, too bad you added lock on 3. Contact was never going to be the meta. Alright,
Yeah.
let's move into our outfield. Toy staying the same. Of course, Vanguard and Kagami staying the same. Who's our first change? DJB? Is that our first change? Or was
Think so.
Yeah.
DJB?
No, Nanai. Wait, wasn't
Nanai.
Nanai 4?
Nanai was
Or
5, I think.
It wasn't. Okay.
The last update they brought him up, yeah.
Yeah, because he's a nice slugger. But I don't think that he's anywhere near worth it. But DJBK at 4, I still don't know if he's worth it. I mean, she has slugger and laser, but like she's limited to a corner outfield position.
Yeah. And even as a corner outfitter, the F and throwing just makes that feels... it's a feel bad.
Yeah, I don't think that DJBK gets any use. Alright, Saga, Kohlberg, Garcia, all still 4, all still should be seeing a lot of use. Hayatani at 4, not sure if Hayatani got changed, but has slugger and laser.
I believe they went up. Am
They
I?
did. Yeah, they definitely are too expensive looking at Saga, Kohlberg. I really like Saga. Saga's very good for 4. Well, and Kohlberg too, but...
I mean, pretty much all of them except for Haytana are good for 4 there.
yeah.
Like, Tenoji's looking pretty solid too, though I wouldn't use him personally.
Kyle Morales dropped 1 to 3. I still don't think he sees too much use, but could be an okay contact option. Nice player on the base pads. This one's huge. Dadonda. Got that chaser for only 3. Both Morikawa and Dadonda are chasers at only 3. That's pretty huge. With laser, it's definitely going to be a meta pick in corner outfield, left field.
Yeah, I would say he's definitely an option. It's just the only issue is that he's competing with the third baseman Oda there that we mentioned earlier that can play outfield.
Yeah, you're right.
But he is definitely one of the top picks for the other corner.
Yeah, I
Personally,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say personally with the clutch F and the grounder, I really don't like either of those.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I don't know if the grounder is more me mentally when I see it, that icon when it's got the red and it's low. I don't know.
Actually, that is a solid point because there are a lot of pitchers that throw the ball really low in the corner there, and the grounder makes those bloop hits so much worse than they should be.
Yeah. But still, chaser hitter at 3. Should still see a lot of use even with all the holes that we just mentioned. A lot worse than Morikawa, that's for sure, but still
Yeah, he could have no
definitely-
fielding, he would still be usable with chaser. It's wild.
Alright, let's see. Shibuya goes down from 4 to 3. Nice menace pick, almost S power. Okay in the field.
Yeah, he'd be another kind of corner pick you kind of throw in there just for the menace, like you said. Nothing really else there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Victor can pop up a decent amount if you're batting in the bottom of the inning, you know. So if you're tied in the bottom half of the inning, that will engage, and that can be a nice little buff for the power.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, when you said Victor, I came up here to Victor Goldberg because I thought you were talking about this Victor. Alright.
I was like, what am I missing?
Alright, Murasame's still 3. I'm a well-known Murasame hater on stream, but just so good on defense.
So good.
Still should see him get picked no matter what. Great outfield option. Let's see. Todoroki goes up from 1 to 2. I think this pretty much makes her irrelevant. No one's gonna use her after this, are they?
No, they were solely they were solely getting used for the morale to begin with, to be honest. So
Yeah.
the fact they're 2 now, they'll just pick someone else. They really need another morale player.
Yeah, I don't think Todoroki's getting any type of playing time. Did Horisugi drop? Or has Horisugi been here?
He's been at 2.
Alright. Oh, Kazanin goes up. The best pinch runner in the game goes up to 2 cost.
Oh, why?
Oh, that's
I mean,
tough.
I get it, but why?
That's so tough. Yeah, we'll see if he still gets used. I would lean to no, but who knows what the pinch running game is going to be looking like.
Yeah. I mean, he was like on every team when he was at 1, so it makes sense, but
Yeah,
that's a shame.
yeah. Alright, both of the Amanes at 1 is very tragic. But at the same time, why would you have this Amane at 1, but you have Angel Amane at the same price? Like, why would you choose this Amane over Angel Amane at that point?
Yeah. And you can't really bring in the Angel one to 2 because it's not worth it. You can't bring the other one back down to 0 because they're just an auto include. They're just in a tough spot there.
Yeah, just super tough spot. Satine drops to 1. Hallelujah, I love Satine so much. That's a great option in center field for 1. I believe that's a better option than Cheeto. Any thoughts there?
I mean, I've never loved Satine, but I can't deny the results. I mean, they get work done in the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more play with Satine for sure at 1. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think their main competition right now is Cheeto, and I mean, I feel like they're better than Cheeto. Just overall, I mean, they don't have the clinical, but of course their magnet is just a better version of Glover, and they have more arm strength. They have slightly better fielding, I think. Plus that egg clutch really makes up for not having clinical. Whenever there's someone in scoring position, that PCI gets super big. And Jester.
Yeah.
I think that eliminates Cheeto from the meta.
I'd say unless you really need a lefty for some reason, yeah, Satine definitely takes the cake on that one.
Yeah, and I feel like there was a decent amount of Cheeto out there, so I would expect to see a decent amount of Satine going forward. Kanehara still 1. Nice contact option.
Yep.
Of course, we bring up Yabeta and Bito and Hasayaku all to 1, and I don't think any of them are worth it at 1.
No, but what is an interesting one? Yagyu there? I think there were a 2 or 3 costs before. They don't look great, but they do have clutch and slugger, which makes them a decent DH option. Because you don't get many good contact home run hitters at 1.
Yeah, I think that they could be a very slept on DH option or pinch hit option, especially when it comes into like extras or something. Or I don't know when that clutch activates. I don't know, so I don't think I'll be using Yagyu. I ain't confident enough to know when clutch activates, but if you know what clutch does, could work.
I don't, but I kind of want to play around with her, so I might have to use her just to have her fail on me and then never use her again.
Hey, if you know what clutch does, just drop it in the comments for us and help us out here. Or just drop it in the Discord, either one.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say there is the best I know is that I don't know it I don't remember it exactly, but if you're tied later in the game, you boost your power to 80.
Yeah, I think that would be very nice in extras. Alright, anyone else left in the outfield that we need to cover?
I mean, I always like to bring up the Mutsumoris just because they're good stealers, outfielder picks, especially since there's no free outfielders really anymore. And Moot Swinger, you know, if they have a good day, they're going to be stealing all the bases.
Where are they at? Mitsumori. Yeah, the Mitsumoris. Always nice pinch runners.
And they're also decent hitters. Once you get the mood swinger, if they're red or pink, they're really good blooper hitters.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I never thought about that. Alright, you all ready to go into the pitchers?
I don't think we mentioned it since we've redone it, but Yabe for free there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did we mention that?
Yabe for free. Yabe definitely is a better version of Yabeta. For everyone using Yabeta before, this gives you a nice zero cost outfield option, especially on defense, and a nice pinch run option.
Yeah, I'd say bare minimum, switch him out with Oda whenever you pitch with Oda. Bare minimum, that's worth having on the team.
Yeah. That's definitely a nice pick. Alright, let's move on to the pitchers. Do I gotta go into the closing pitchers? Because I don't feel like any of the closing pitchers would even change. Any of the guys that would even pop up. Did Tachibana change? Just
There was actually my guy Jungetsu there that went down to 2 because I've been looking at him for a while.
Ooh.
And I think brought him up in the Discord too.
Ooh, Junketsu at 2 with Iron Ball, 151 kilometers, and that huge slow curveball. Could be a nice option against lower ranked people in Lock on 3. Could be a replacement to the Ones and the Roddy Brights and the Meggies that people were bringing out. Can they hit? And they can hit. Yeah, that might be a nice option to bring out. Alright, anyone of these guys?
Oh, and then more of a meme pick there, but Tachibana going down the 2. Similar deal, you use them mostly against lower ranks, but they cannot hit them if you're able to pitch them good.
Yeah, that special sinker. Isn't it also seen on one of the Yakumans?
Yes, except the Yakuman's like 7, and there isn't much of a difference, at least in my opinion, to pay the extra 5.
They did raise him up so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's almost like a budget Atsu, but obviously not hyped up to be considered a budget version of it, but it's a similar role.
Yeah. Alright, let's go through these starting pitchers. Alright, let's start off with the biggest cost change in our opinion. Asa going down from, what was it, 15, 14?
14.
14 down to 12. Asa could become meta now. Nice 12 costs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be using them more now.
It's going to be a nice option for all the new players to pick up. Nice cheap option. Also, Asa is like, of like the top meta pitchers, definitely one of the least cheesiest, definitely one of the most hittable. I feel like with enough practice, you can really get any Asa timing down. Of course, a bad Asa, in my opinion, is pretty easy to hit, but I feel like we're just gonna be seeing a lot more Asas, and might be seeing some new Asa tech, some new ways to pitch from the top players. Of course, we haven't seen the top players use Asa too much before, but now with the cost change, we could possibly see how they would like to pitch Asa.
I agree. It'll be interesting. I think it might be, might be more for. I don't know if Asa will become the meta.
I don't
Just
think
because-
she'll become the meta, but
Well, I mean, even as part of like the meta staff, even, because with Myojin and Unkai, I don't know. It's just hard to. It's hard to pass those up with their stamina.
I mean, they have proven that they're willing to pay the 30 for 2 good pitchers and call it a day for their bullpen.
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I would say make sure that you keep an eye out for Asa. Kiba, of course, we talked about Kiba the other day. Kiba drops from 14-13. I don't think this really affects too much. Unkai's still better at the same cost. Mileman drops from 15 down to 14. Help him compete more with those fastball pitchers. I don't think that he sees any more use just due to the fact that you can't pinch hit him. All these top pitchers, you can pinch hit all of them. So, yeah.
And to activate the Tyrant, you would need to start a pitcher ahead of him. And with so many of the zero cost pitchers going up to 1, that
Or
hurts.
you have to get someone else. Yeah.
You have to have an opener.
Of course, we talked about Allen the other day. Ain't no one using Allen. I think Allen would clearly need to be like 6 or 5 costs for people to start using him. Nah, I don't know if I go that far, but it had to be
I might.
very low.
Part of me wants to try Allen just to see if I can make it work. Like, what are we missing?
The iron ball, a good fastball
Baseball,
that
slugger.
a lot of things.
No, I know, but I mean, like, what are we missing as far as it's still 11 cost? Like, how can we justify the 11? And so part of me is like, can we make it work?
I think
I
we
don't know.
just yell at Konami and tell them that they need to keep on going lower.
I think literally the charm ability is the only thing giving him any possible viability right now.
Yeah.
All right, so what cost, Compass, what are you going with? At what cost would you start to think about using Allen?
God. He can't even be used in the outfield, really. Maybe, honestly, probably never. He probably never finds a place on my team. Either he costs too much where I don't want to use him on my team, or he would have to be, so little cost where I just, have to use him. He would have to be, 4 or 5 costs where I just, undoubtedly have to use him because I need my top pitchers, and you can't just, I don't know. I also use One and stuff at 2, so I guess Allen would have to compete with them since I would only pitch Allen to lower cost or lower PR players.
So 2 to 4 range?
Yeah, so you would literally have to put him in the 2 to 4 range and have him compete with One for me to even consider using them.
I mean, he can hit, and he does have morale. I feel like 4 to 5 would make sense.
Definitely.
I would definitely try it then.
We're just some Allen haters. But it's crazy because look at bro's star count. he should be amazing. Like, you look at everything on paper, he should be amazing, and he sucks.
Do either of
think-
you know what the verse slugger does?
The what?
Alright, it boosts your stats whenever you face a slugger that has certain amount of contact and a certain amount of power. Something like that. I can't remember.
What do you mean boost like your stats, or does it hurt? It only boosts yours. It doesn't hurt theirs at all. Kind of like Menace.
I think so.
Yeah, it's just a boost. I think it increases your speed by like 2, and then
Okay.
increases, I think, it might increase your pitches by 1, but don't quote me on that.
I remember me, like all the guys that were at the USA finals, we actually had a conversation about this because we were talking about how Unkai might low-key be just straight up a better pitcher than Maoman because of like the versus slugger and the battler and all that. And I remember he explained it, but I can't remember exactly what it does. But I know it increases your velocity by +2, adds like +5 or something to control and stamina. I'm not sure if it does anything to like how much your pitches move.
Maybe it was the control increase. That might have been what I'm thinking of. Maybe it doesn't move the ball.
Yeah, but Allen just not getting any use. Afro Akari, of course, we talked about the other day. Does he still get use at 11? I don't really think so.
I mean, it would be the same with whoever uses Asa with like the lower tiers. If you're just looking for like an easy pitcher to throw in there that can also hit.
Yeah. I feel like Asa's a lot more unhittable though than Afro Akari is, and I'd just rather have an Asa just for one more cost.
Yeah.
But definitely the best out of the 11 options. Suzukaze for 11 is definitely eh. And Daigugetsu, he has his clear problems.
Yeah. Well, Daigogetsu, like, unless you're playing like the top 50 players or so, I feel like no one can get a solid hit on him, even if you don't get the perfect pitch every time.
Yeah, I feel like you can kind of get a nice piece on him. I remember going up against the Daigugetsu from, I can't even remember who it was. It was one of the kind of top players, and I kind of smacked the Daigo around. Not gonna lie. I wouldn't consider... I would say we could move up the top 50 number to like... just like pretty much everyone above 55 PR in my opinion. Probably
Okay. I haven't seen
S
too many of
rankers.
them.
I've seen a couple, which, I mean,
Yeah.
the couple I've seen I've rocked.
I'm kind of curious then, do they usually try to get the timer going by switch pitching them, or do they just start with them?
I usually don't see them trying to use Tyrant. Usually, I think most people think that the control debuff is just too much with it already being 35, and with one of the abilities being Meatball, it's just way too much for most people.
Yeah, I get that. He's just one of those guys I've always wanted to be good. Like, I feel like he's on the cusp there, and it just doesn't quite work out with that control.
I think that it's just, I think that it doesn't even matter like what you really do. He just needs like more fastball heaviness. Like, yeah, he has the best fastball and like normal fastball in the game with the 8 heater and 170 kilometers per hour, but just with no heaviness, it doesn't really mean anything. Like the iron ball, it helps, but what really makes the Myojins and the Maomans and the Unkais of the world so hard to really get a home run off of is their fastball heaviness, not really their iron ball, in my opinion.
That's true.
Yeah, I used to use Daigugetsu quite a bit. And I like him a lot, but you're right. I mean, you leave any of those fastballs over the zones against good hitters, and what I mean by over the zone is just even off the line by barely, and then it's usually gone.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know that, and also with that control, when I did use them, I usually didn't try to activate the tyrant. I just started them. You get a better, you get to keep them in the whole time. So the one thing that is nice about Daigetsu is that if you do throw them, you can handle the lower ranks a lot easier with them. And he can pitch back-to-back games pretty easy because a lot of times you're not going to use up that much stamina just throwing fastballs, especially if you don't use the higher effort fastballs. But
Yeah.
at 11 costs, it's just kind of hard. If they were maybe, I don't know, 7 to 9 range,
Yeah,
I
it's
could
the
see it.
same
I
thing
could see
with
them going in that Afro Akari, where they were. I
yeah.
could see him filling that void, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, they could really feel like that Afro Akari. That's what, like, these three people, like, their job is, like, beat up on them lower ranks, but, like, you just put them against a higher rank and, like, they know what they're doing. They're sending it every single time against all three of these dudes. And that's
Yep.
why you need one of these dudes up here. It's just... I hate it in my opinion, but that's just the game.
Yeah, I feel like that's just meta in general, like you said. And you really only need one of them per se, to be honest, unless you're only playing top tier players. So not as bad as it could be.
Yeah. Alright, let's move down. Of course, I feel like we missed an opportunity to give my boy Fukumizu a nerf. No reason he should be 7. We just want to use him in the field again.
Oh, what about Maguro there? Was he always 7?
no, he was 8.
Alright, because he's like an interesting, almost low budget option, just without the hitting, and obviously less control, I think.
I just think that the cutter, if it was one more level higher, I think he would be so much better. But just the difference between the level 5 and the level 6 between Majuro and Hakudo, it really does make all the difference, I feel like, when you're trying to dot that, like, top left corner or top right corner in Majuro's case, since he's a right-handed. But I don't know, just in my experience, he gets smacked a lot more. I feel like that pitch is a lot more hittable than it is against a Hakudo or a Doe, which Hakudo I feel like is the real budget Doe. I don't
Even
know.
without the iron ball or cutter? Huh.
I mean, Hakudo was like one of the main dudes that got me into the USA final. I mean, I was spamming that top left corner or that top right corner to get into the USA final. I'll just say that. But Hakudo, he was putting in some work. That 6 cutter, even with no iron ball, it definitely works. I would say it's like similar to the way Atsumori has no iron ball, to where you just have to time it perfectly. But Majuro, if Majuro's on like pink with that cutter ability, that A heater, he's a lot better than Hakudo. But on a regular basis, I don't think that he's really. He's good, but I don't think that he's that good. I feel like if his cutter was just one level higher, he would be so much better. But that's just my rant.
Fair enough. Grabbing either one of them, though, at that low of a cost might be interesting. See if you can... You could even grab both of them if you really wanted, since that's the same cost as one of your star pitchers you're going to grab anyways.
Yeah, I think that you could see Hakudo making somewhat of a comeback, like we saw during the Doe meta.
Yeah,
I love
and
that.
Maguro does have the 70 power with slugger too as a hitter, so
Yeah.
whereas Hakudo probably not.
Hakudo,
But you're right. I mean, it all comes down to their pitching, right? Are you gonna put it? You trust them to put them on the mound?
I mean, the way I think about it is like, let's say someone like Hakata with her cutter, that's only 4. You don't think of that as like a very good cutter. Like, the difference between 4 and 6 is so great. Like 6 is where it starts to like the cutter really becomes unhittable. I feel like 5, it like starts kind of getting there, but it's not enough. And even without chaser, those high contact players, they're still gonna take a yard. Especially since he's a right-hand thrower, so he's gonna be down that top left corner. So he's going to be throwing to a lot of left-handers who are going to be pulling that ball. And it's not going to be as hard to pull since it's going to be starting a lot closer to inside the zone.
Right.
Alright, I feel like I've been talking about Magura for way too long.
All right, I'll throw this in, and then we can end it. With the runners in scoring position, they do get a bust on. A burst. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Buff.
Their cutter, a buff to their cutter. I mean, it'll move more with that runner's scoring position, correct?
Yeah,
I believe their
that
pitches
does-
each
yeah,
go up one.
That's when I started liking them. Whenever I had my experience in like Triple P, that's when that cutter started to feel deadly. But whenever there's no one on base,
Yep.
that cutter is it's not enough. And I feel like I would rather pay the extra cost for the 6 cutter. I feel like Takudo is just a lot better option. But anyway,
Yep.
Octavia goes up? Question mark. Am I tripping on that, or has Octavia been 5?
I think they've been 5, but like it's a lot different when the game started when they're I think 3.
I think they were 4.
It's definitely been an overall change from the beginning of the game.
But Kariba goes up to 5, up from 4. Definitely needed.
Oh yeah.
I think they'll still get some use. Definitely a very nice pick. Actually, Kagurazaka, it really depends on where they are, where if Kariba gets use, but I think this is a nice spot for them. Definitely a nice player to put up against the lower tier players. I feel like they could work on a lot of the kind of mid-high tier players, not like the absolute beasts at the top of leaderboards or anything, but like your average S rank. I feel like Kariba could still work against them. I feel like it was
you can
nice
get it
for
in
them
and
to
again.
try.
I've done it before. It's just putting him at a 5 though. Like, it doesn't seem like a lot from 4 to 5, but that's a lot of times that's different of whether or not you're going to use him as a relief pitcher versus just saying screw it and using the points somewhere else.
Yeah. But yeah, Kariba is just probably gonna fall a little bit out that meta. Well, I don't see Kagurazaka anywhere near 5, so I'm assuming they're lower. So I'm assuming that Kagurazaka is gonna take Kariba's spot. Graviton Arai drops. I think all these people drop, but no one cares about any of them because who's really gonna use any of these people?
What about Red and Yamano with the bat at the very least? Yamano has menace as well.
I mean,
Think.
Red has that bat. That bat is good and everything, but like the pitching, like yeah, the fastball is like really good and everything, but like there just isn't anything else.
Yeah, no.
But-
You do it more for him as like a pinch hitter that can also pitch for you a lot better than the 4 or 5 free options that we only have available right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I could see a little bit of Red. Yamino too. I'd probably rather have Red over Yamino, but Yamino does have menace.
Yeah, the Slugger menace honestly is kind of
Nice from Yamino at 4.
yeah, because they've got to be the lowest cost with both of those now.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But I definitely would trust Red a lot more on the mound.
Oh, absolutely.
But I feel like Yamino is definitely way better at bat. I don't know. It just depends on whether you need a better pitcher or a better bat between those
Exactly.
two. Bucho's alright. I'm not too much of a fan of Bucho myself, but the fork is cool.
You might as well grab Yamaguchi at that point.
Yeah, Yamaguchi. I feel like I don't know. There's something about Yamaguchi's fork that's just better than Bucho's fork. Like Bucho looks better on paper than Yamaguchi, but I just feel like Yamaguchi's better. Something about that fork.
Well, alone, Yamaguchi just has the lucky ability, which I feel like that alone just makes him better. With everything else equal. Or close to it.
Does Bucho doesn't even have abilities. Yeah, Kagurazaka at 4. Definitely going to take Kariba's spot.
Yeah.
4 for that nice curveball. I mean, we basically saw that in Kariba. Just a repeat of last time. Amazaki gets raised. That's cool. One gets raised. They're raising all the 2-cost guys that people were putting against, like, the low ranks.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Of course, One with that curveball. Iron Ball, Slugger. Who else is up here? Oh,
Ooh, was Kirama always 3?
No, I just looked at that as well. Kurama went down again.
oh, Kurama went down.
But
She
Fuku is
opened
the
up.
problem.
Oh, outfield option. Ooh, Fukami at 2. That's nice. Nice reliever option, but at the same time, like, why even bother when you have Oda relieving? Suzumoto at 3 is really interesting because at this point, like, Suzumoto is just not a lock-on 3 pitcher. Just like, you'd have to make them free for me to even consider using them.
I know, you see all the blue, then you read the abilities, and none of them really help with the meta at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're just stuck with Suzumoto. They really are, because, like, no one's ever gonna use them. Let's be real. But yeah, them new players, they like, ooh, high start count, high control, high stamina, a lot of blue stuff.
See the trap pick, nothing else.
For real.
Interesting to see Sumera went to 2, and then also the one you just pulled up, Horace Run.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they've been at 2. Sumera, I just don't think I'll use at 2. That lead ball just didn't work as well as I hoped it would.
I don't really know what it is about Sumera that doesn't make her it work really well, but that's why I feel like Iron Ball just doesn't really, like, matter, like, that much that we thought in the beginning that it did. Because there was a while there that we thought that Iron Ball was, like, everything.
Yeah. Well, I think once we realized that the fastballs themselves can have different heaviness, I think is when change happened.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, Sumera did not have a lot of success for me last tournament. I'd probably rather go for Kami. Horace Run could be a nice reliever for you. I mean, it could be a nice person to put up against, like, low ranks you, like, start out a free pitcher, whoever that free pitcher is. They can't hit, though. Oh well. Alex is still 2. I remember when people liked Alex, but...
Yeah. I mean, he just doesn't pitch much else, and the 5-splitter is kind of... It's okay, but you might as well grab one of the 4-star option at that point.
Yeah. Roddy Bright's still 2. Got that Dr. K. Pitches fast, B heater.
You're using him to hit, though, let's be honest here.
You're using him to hit. Great slugger. Also got rally. My boy Pseudo. Of course we won't be seeing Pseudo in no lock on 3. Keptamagi. Got sprayer. Nice heater. Could be an okay option. Go is at 2? Okay. Okay, Go. I mean, do you even... I don't think you even still use Go, but... Go at 2 is
Nah.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even use him against low players, really, because he doesn't have much curve or anything going for him outside of pitching 155.
Yeah. Tanakiyama at 2. Not sure how that stacks up against the other shortstops, but let me think.
I saw that and I was excited, then I was like, all the other shortstops are looking really good now, actually. That
Oh
might not
yeah,
be
I
too great.
forgot. I forgot the shortstops were looking good. Bonda at 1. Our pinch runner.
Oh no, whatever shall we do?
Our pinch runner. Alright, who else we got? Zenzai
Oh, and
at
then-
1 could be a nice pinch running option. I know
Yep.
Serena's happy about 1 cost Zenzai. Anyone else that's of any? Kai can play every position. I mean, are you really paying 1 for him? Probably not, but cool that he only costs 1 now.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, with the
Erica.
lack of backup fielding, Kai might be usable just as, you know, like Aldrich last attempt approach of getting some kind of fielder in play when you need it.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. He could be part of the meta, but let's see. Erikai at 1 is pretty interesting. Narumi comes back to 1. Wait, was she ever not 1? Swear she was 2 at one point.
I feel like 2 as well, but
Because a
I'm
lot
not
of people
100%.
were using her to pitch and hit. Which, why were we ever using her to hit? It's not like she was that good at hitting.
She was just there. Oh, Idutsu going down to 1. Not great, but just Iron Ball pitcher at 1 is interesting.
That could be a nice option to throw up against some lower players, especially with that forkball. I could see this being a nice option.
Which honestly, I feel like he's almost better than Alex, so the fact that he's worth less.
Yeah. Alright. Anyone else from here that's even really... Sign?
no, I think the big story is just all of the pitchers that are no longer free.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you even look at the 5, potential starters / middle relievers that are free. I mean, you're risking it just even
Yeah.
like putting them as an opener
These
for
dudes
somebody.
are not good. Morimochi, I mean, we all know how bad Morimochi is. That G control. Hey, he got Battler. He ain't scared of no one, but I mean, he sucks. Chuno got airball and unlucky. Come on now.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
He
it's
doesn't have run speed or hitting or anything. They really picked the bottom of the barrel for the zero cost now.
Yeah, if you want any type of value, you're gonna have to pay. I think that's pretty much what we learned today. If you want something, you're gonna have to pay now. You aren't getting a lot for free.
unless
Yeah.
it's second base because that hasn't changed.
Second base is still free. Alright, is there anything else we need to talk about, or is that just about it?
I mean, I think that's more or less it, because I'm not seeing any closers or anything that we missed.
Just one quick last check through the list.
Anybody have any overall, what's their overall favorite from the cost changes?
Overall favorite from the cost change?
Or maybe somebody else who didn't change, but because others did, you like them more?
Let me think. I think
Honestly,
that...
Wahashi, like zero cost can pitch hit if you get that timing right, and morale, like great pick there.
Yeah, that's a really good zero cost. That's definitely by far the best zero cost now. I think my favorite change either has to be Daisuke Dieta going to 7 cost, really putting himself back into the meta, or it's gonna have to be Edogawa going down to 3, because I already really liked him as a 4-slot first baseman. Going down to 3, I just think he's gonna be very good value. You got a favorite cost change, Exelon?
No, I was just trying to think. Nothing sticks out. We didn't talk about Raibukai at pitcher much. That they're still 8.
Yeah.
But I really personally really like them. I do feel like since their recovery is not great, I feel like 8's a good spot for them. But now with Afro Akari going up to 11, I feel like they're a little bit more valuable there because they do have a great bat and they can pitch. I've had success pitching with them personally, but
I think they're a pretty usable pitcher. I think that at the same cost, I think Hakuto is just slightly better at pitching, but Ribukai definitely has him beat on the bat side of it. And the Shudo definitely can act like a sort of budget Atsumori cutter, which is
Honestly,
always nice.
With Akari going up, Raibuke almost looks worse to me. Just because having the two of them together for 17 costs, having it being a similar... Just because you have to make up for that recovery somehow with an extra pitcher. And I felt Akari was the best, starter option to then switch into Raibu with. Making them 2 more just... It makes it harder to use Raibuka.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then outside of that, I guess one that I'm kind of excited for would be that I will potentially use some besides like yours that you said Data at catcher would be Ban at shortstop or Morikawa at short.
Yeah, those shortstops had me excited. Morikawa is going to be super good with that chaser. And Ban for 2 is wow. Like, I might have to find somewhere else to place one of them. Like, they're both 49. That's bad, but there's definitely going to be a fight for who I want to select between Morikawa and Ban.
It might come down to just filling out your roster at the very end with that one cost difference,
I'm gonna be excited to see what type of teams that everyone in the Discord and around on Twitter make this next upcoming qualifier tournament. It's gonna be week 4, last week.
Yeah, it'll certainly be interesting.
Alright, is there Okay, my bad.
Just the last thing that screen you were on the shortstops, the Rapunji, man, he has lost all value.
Yeah, I mean,
great defensive shortstop, but at 3 with no bat, that's tough.
Yeah, that's
especially with all the costs of the Yeah.
Alright, I think that's it. Anyone else have any last comments before we end this?
No, sir.
Alright.
I think we're all good.
Alright, I'd like to give a huge thank to Haha Healy and X Long from the Power Pros World Discord for joining me here and engaging in this very nice conversation about all these cost changes. If this helped you, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. It'll help a lot. I drop Power Pros content here pretty much every single week. Of course, make sure to check out the links in the descriptions. My Twitch and the Discord is down there. There's plenty of people in the Discord just like X Long and Healy. They both are super active in there just like myself. We are more than happy to help you if you do not know where to go with these cost changes or building your team. And I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll see y'all later. These 55 and 65 cost tournaments are gonna start looking a lot weaker. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.